stand by to roll the opening.
Oh, standing by.
Okay, roll the opening.
Rolling the opening. Rolling the opening. Rolling the opening. Rolling the opening. Oh.
Thank you. Are you okay?
Oh, yes, it was just a scratch.
Hello, and welcome to 70 Years, 70 Muppets. More Muppets, please. A Muppet fan podcast presented by ToughPigs.com. This is the podcast where we celebrate the Muppets' 70th anniversary with a series of spotlights on our favorite Muppet characters, from fan favorites to the most obscure. I'm this week's host, Ryan Rowe, and the Muppet of the Week is Digit, performed by Dave Goelz, making his world debut. Well, he debuted to the world publicly in 1989 on the Jim Henson Hour, although technically, before that, he was in a presentation pilot called Inner Tube in 1987. But anyway, my guest is here to talk about Digit with me, and my guest is a guy who I sometimes talk about Muppets with on another podcast. It's Anthony Strand. Hi, Anthony.
Hey, Ryan. Hey, we're talking about Digit. What a thrill!
Yeah.
That guy's. We've been going through Muppet movies 2 minutes at a time, and we haven't seen him once, and we never will. So
That's
what a joy!
True. Yeah,
Joy you here for this.
Yeah, I'm really glad we have a reason to do this. So, do you think it's accurate to say that you and I love the Jim Henson Hour and specifically Digit more than most humans on planet Earth?
It's possible that we love the Jim Henson Hour more than, and specifically Digit, more than any other humans on planet Earth. Shout out, of course, to our recent Moving Right Along guest, Grant Harding, who I think is the other member of the top three.
I think maybe that's true. There are some big Jim Henson Hour fans out there, but yeah, not a lot. So, and I was skimming a few Jim Henson Hour episodes in preparation for this. Digit, of course, is the apparently robotic kind of tech guy on the Muppet television segments who works with Kermit to put on the show. And he also plays keyboards in the house band Solid Foam. But I realized there were a bunch of new characters that were created for these Muppet television segments. And not all of them are in every episode, but Digit is in every episode. So it seems like Jim Henson and the writers and Dave Goelz had kind of a special fondness for this one new guy.
And I think you can tell that because, like, you mentioned a lot of the new characters. And Digit, let's be honest, is not the prettiest design of any Muppet ever.
True.
I mean, he's very much one of these, like, rubbery late 80s Ghost of Fafner Hall type kind of off-putting designs.
Yeah, although I would argue that in Digit is the one case where it actually works in his favor because he's this kind of robot-y guy and he's this weird oddball character. So I think it works for him specifically.
Oh, I agree. I love everything about him, but I can see how you're a new viewer coming to Jim Henson Hour, whether in 1989 or today. I can see looking at Digit with his, wires for hair and his like weird, bulbous eyes.
Yeah.
And just being like, why is this happening? But the reason that I love Digit, and I think a lot of the reason you love Digit, and the reason we're even here, is because Dave Goelz invests him with as much personality and as much heart and as much lively energy as any of Dave Goelz's classic characters. Like, I'm not saying that Digit is as memorable as Gonzo or Boober or Bunsen Honeydew. That would be an insane thing. But you can see how he could have been given time.
Given time, right. That's another thing, because there are only, 13 episodes of the Jim Henson Hour?
12.
12, see? Yeah, that's ridiculous. So, yeah, I think given time is that's an important phrase. But also I think Digit is the most sort of Muppet, like, I'm going to phrase this poorly, but there were all these new characters, and some of them had more of a defining thing than others. Like, you have Vicky, who is there as some kind of assistant to Kermit, and she doesn't have that much of a personality. And then you have like Leon, who becomes kind of like he's horny and he's kind of a schemer and a con artist, which is a little bit more of a character. But Digit is the most fully formed, and in a show that is sometimes similar to the Muppet Show, where like things go wrong hilariously, Digit works the best in that kind of familiar Muppety format, if that makes sense.
Digit is notably the only of the new characters. He's the only one performed by a performer from the Muppet Show,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, you're right.
Like
Well,
you could
I mean
you could say
Waldo,
Bean, but yeah, Waldo, I guess, and then Bean is kind
right?
of
Steve Whitmire,
a new
yeah,
character. But even Steve Whitmire is like one of the classic Muppet Show performers with an asterisk to a
he
degree,
was
right? He's not
the guy who joined later, right?
right. He's not one of the Fab Five, as we may or may not say.
Right.
Uh, and obviously, like there's well, let's say this again. There's Beard in the band, which is Jerry, but Digit
Yeah.
is like you say, he's one of the most important new characters, and it's Dave Goelz getting to mess around with this new character.
Right. Yeah.
And so much of what makes Digit appealing is the stuff that feels like Dave just having fun, right?
Yeah.
When he when Gon in Secrets of the Muppets, when Gonzo is worried about him aging, and Digit just like gets right up in Gonzo's face to look at the cracks in his mouth or whatever.
Yes.
I assume Dave is playing Digit because the lean in to Gonzo's face is so funny that Digit does.
Oh, good
It
call.
feels like a
Yeah.
Dave moment, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'd like to think it
Um,
was then.
right. But like that, or when he's talking about what is it, the scrunchy.
That's what I was going to mention. Kermit says, "How do you feel?" And Digit says, "Oh, how do I feel? Well, I sort of reach my arms out and I stretch my fingers and I do these kind of squinchy things." And then he realizes that he's doing squinchy things on Kermit's eyeballs, much to Kermit's
Yeah,
exasperation, which is so
right.
classic, like Muppet comedy team dynamic. He and Kermit bounce off each other really well.
Yeah. He's the he's maybe the one new character that it feels like Kermit has a relationship with.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And it's not it's not a rehash. Like it's not quite Kermit's relationship with Fozzie. It's
Oh
not
no,
quite
no.
Kermit's relationship with Scooter, which it might be the closest to.
Maybe the closest, but no.
He's kind of Kermit's new right-hand man,
Yeah.
but he's also such a weird dude that Kermit can't really expect anything from him. Like Kermit does expect
Yeah.
things from him because he has a job, but Kermit is also never really that surprised when Digit's just being a weirdo instead of doing his job.
Right. He doesn't know what weird thing is going to happen next with Digit.
Right.
Yeah. It occurred to me that Digit is or seems to be part of a long trend of Jim Henson and Jerry Jewell, who was the head writer for the Muppet Television segments. They seem to have this fascination over the years with imperfect robots or machines. You have Sam the robot on Sesame Street. There's like that old variety show sketch they did several times of the computer who explains how efficient it is and then gets eaten by a monster and explodes. I don't there can you think of any other examples? I know there are some. I just didn't write any more down.
Well, I would certainly include Mama from the
Oh yeah.
Dudley Moore episode of The Muppet Show,
Yeah,
which
good
is
call.
like an AI songwriting machine.
Right, exactly. Yeah, designed
You
to
know, I
replace
mean, it
real
really is.
musicians. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Digit seems to be kind of like the final culmination of all that. He's a main character on this show who also seems to be a robot who malfunctions in comic ways. Although I was trying to think if they ever actually explicitly say that Digit is a robot. I don't know if they ever use the word robot or android or cyborg to refer to him or describe him.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's just kind of understood.
They go inside his brain in the Louis Anderson episode,
Right. His
the
brain is full
brain
of
set that we see.
wires and it has buttons in it. He can connect a cable connect like containing every TV signal known to man directly to his chest and receive TV signals. In the Buster Poindexter episode, when the band is playing their song, he adjusts knobs that are right on his chest, apparently, I guess, turning the volume up and down. And then in the Smokey Robinson episode, he blows his nose and says that he just blew his nose, a fuse, and three circuit breakers.
Yeah, that all suggests robotic.
Yeah, but I just think it's really interesting that they never actually say, "Oh, this guy over here. He's Digit. He's our robot technical director."
Yes, it's kind of the opposite of Sam the robot, where
Yeah,
they say he has robot in his name, and also the M in Sam stands for machine. So it's
yeah,
in his name twice.
yeah. Sam never stops talking about the fact that he's a robot.
Right.
But yeah, I guess. Well, yeah, Digit is more just kind of accepted by his Muppet friends. So he kind of disappeared from the Muppet universe after the Jim Henson Hour, with the exception of a cameo on that Cosby Show episode that has Muppets in it. Do you have any specific thoughts on that? It's fun to see him again in
I
that.
mean, I watched his scenes today. There is a helpful YouTube video called The Jim Henson Hour, but it's just Digit, which is about 40 minutes long.
Oh,
And it is, as far as I can tell, including Innertube, which we'll get to, and the Cosby Show, it is, as far as I can tell, every second that Digit is on screen. Because
wow.
some of it is just like he's like on one of the TV monitors or something, and
Huh.
like two other characters are talking, you know?
Oh, like in the background of a scene.
Yeah,
Huh.
but it started with Innertube and ended with the Cosby Show clip. So I mean, that was what I watched to research this, and it was almost startling to see him on the Cosby Show in a real set.
Oh, right. Yeah, because Muppet. I guess the location is called Muppet Central, where it's all just they're performing it against a blue screen, and they're all
Blue
just
screen.
yeah, uh, computer generated TV monitors in the background. Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess we see him a little bit. Like there's Sweet Vacation. He's on a real set, but actually that might be it.
that's true.
So yeah, that would be
Yeah,
disorienting.
right. Because all of a sudden it was just like, oh yeah, this is what Muppets are usually like. They're interacting with people on a set, and like obviously whatever. Like it's Bill Cosby. It's not that pleasant to watch Bill Cosby in this day
No,
and
to
age,
watch it now, yeah.
but it is nice to see Digit one last time. It's nice that he came back for one more appearance.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he introduced a game in Muppets Party Cruise, a game called Short Circuit.
And I love that because so that's what? That's about 2000, 2001.
2000, I want to say 2003 maybe.
Okay. And Dave Goles clearly had not thought about Digit much in the intervening years.
Right.
Because what is fascinating about that narration from the game is that the voice kind of comes and goes. There are moments when he sounds exactly like Digit, and much of it he does not sound like Digit at all. It's like Dave just kind of doing a voice that he might decide sounds like what a robot would sound like now.
Time to fix the wiring with short circuit. Red to red, green to green, yellow to yellow, blue to blue. Short circuit. Short circuit.
You know,
Yeah.
because it's not like he was going to go check the tapes. It's not like Dave Goles was going to go watch the Buster Poindexter episode.
No, probably not. He was probably just thinking, okay, now what did this guy sound like?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's that's what's really interesting to me about that is it is we as fans are like, oh yes, Digit, the classic Muppet character, the underrated fave. But when called on to voice Digit for a video game many years later, Dave Goles was just like, ah, here's a robot voice. Good enough. Who cares?
Right, he just hadn't thought about it. Although we were so excited when that game came out and Digit was there.
Mhm.
Digit, our buddy, came back, our friend.
He's back. He's coming back. It's the Digit
Yeah.
Renaissance.
But then that was it, really. So, but I do wonder, would there even have been a place for Digit if they had decided to continue the character, and what might that have been? I think it's pretty obvious that there's no way he fits into Muppet Christmas Carol and Muppet Treasure Island.
No. But on Muppets Tonight, I mean, he could be the tech guy or something,
Yeah,
right? Like
I think he would have
they
been
could have
fine
used
on
him
Muppets
there.
Tonight. Yeah.
I would have rather had Digit than Andy and Randy.
Yeah, filling a very different role, but yes, definitely. I would trade both Andy and Randy for one Digit.
I would too. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm a little bit surprised. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised that they didn't throw him into the Muppets at Walt Disney World, just because that's right after the Jim Henson Hour, and Bean Bunny is there, and Clifford is there. I don't know. It seems like they could have just had him at least as part of the Muppet ensemble.
Yeah, sure.
But
Okay, so can we talk about other characters that Digit is kind of like?
yes,
Because so Muppet Wiki says that Dave Goelz says he was inspired by Reverend Jim from Taxi, Christopher
uh-huh.
Lloyd on Taxi, and David Byrne, which I think just means the suit,
I think
right?
that's kind of just maybe the
His
mannerisms a little bit, like the way he moves,
the kind of like jerky mannerisms.
specifically
Um,
from that, yeah, from yeah, from the
from
white
the
suit thing, yeah,
from the white suit videos,
yeah.
yeah. Uh, but Reverend Jim definitely is a huge like that's clear. You can see that influence. He
Yeah,
has
once
the
you
same,
hear that, you go, "Oh yeah, sure, of course."
yeah, he very much has the same like spacey mannerism where he like is locked in and then suddenly is like looking at something else and then
Yeah.
is locked in again or whatever. Uh, but the character that he reminds me of the most, I think, is another character who debuted later in 1989, and it's Kramer from Seinfeld.
Oh, that's funny.
I feel like that energy matches even closer than Reverend Jim, I think. Like the way
Huh.
Digit kind of like whooshes into the control room feels very much like Kramer whooshing into Jerry's apartment.
Yeah, and I guess I would say Kramer has a little bit more control over his eccentricity compared to Reverend Jim, who's just
Yeah,
kind of a burnout. So yeah, yeah, I see what you're talking about. That's funny.
yeah, that is because especially because I mean, I guess I must have known that what year the Jim Henson Hour came out when I first saw it,
Yeah.
but Seinfeld was much uh more recent at that time. You know, Seinfeld had just ended kind of when I started watching the Jim
Oh, when
Henson
you first
Hour.
became aware or saw it, yeah.
Yeah, when I got it in the tape trades
Yeah, those were the days.
25 years ago. Wow.
Wow.
And uh but I remember thinking back then like, oh, this is the Kramer Muppet.
Oh, that's funny. Well, yeah, the hair too. Did you say the hair reminded you? Because
Yeah,
I
I
could see
didn't
that
say
too.
the hair, but yeah, that's another part of it.
The hair
Yeah.
that sticks up. Yeah, wow. Okay, Digitus Kramer. I thought you were going to mention, and maybe you were still planning to. I thought you were going to mention Data from Star Trek: The Next Generation because I've heard that
Oh,
comparison
sure.
too. Just that he's a robotic person who's, like trying to fit in with regular people. Although the Muppets aren't really regular people, but
Yeah, and they both, I mean, speaking of design elements, like they both have chalky white skin, Data and,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Digit.
that's true. Right.
Both look basically like a human, but they have this chalky white skin to indicate android or robot or whatever.
Yeah. And they're both performing technical tasks for their boss. That's their
Yes.
job. So,
And but Digit never tells Kermit that he has a query.
no, no,
So
too
that's
bad.
disappointing.
Yeah, and Next Generation had been on for a couple of seasons by the time the Jim Henson Hour started. So they could have,
Yes.
yeah, they could have made a reference there.
It just ending its second season when the Jim Henson Hour premiered.
Yeah. You got to wonder, again, if the Jim Henson Hour had lasted longer, maybe one of the cast members from Star Trek would have been a guest star.
Well, and of course, we know that count them, three cast members from Star Trek appeared on Muppets Tonight.
Yeah, right.
Not Next Generation, of course, original series, all three, but Shatner,
Right.
Nimoy, and Takei.
Yeah.
But it seems likely that if Kirk Thatcher had remained involved, as
Yeah.
heavily involved, like that's where the Star Trek connections came
Right,
from,
right.
right?
He
For Muppets Tonight.
he probably would have would have pushed them to get a Star Trek guest star.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, we should say Whoopi Goldberg too was on Muppets Tonight.
Oh, Whoopi, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. She's Whoopi. Like
Yeah.
she's Guinan, of course, but like she's Whoopi.
She's Whoopi.
Unlike unlike Leonard Nimoy, she exists outside of Star Trek.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I guess it would have been fun to see Digit on Muppets Tonight interacting with Nigel the director. Like Nigel the
Because
director,
Nigel would
Digit
be
as his
flipping
technical
out.
director. Yeah. Reacting even
Yeah,
more strongly than Kermit did on the Jim Henson Hour.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
That
that
would
could
have
have
been
had
fun.
some potential. Yeah, and then I was thinking, should we talk about Digit as a musician, but there's really not a lot to that. It's just kind
Well,
of
yeah, he just plays keyboard in the band. I do think it's interesting. It like adds another interesting layer to him. I can see
yes.
why you thought of it as a question because it is weird that he's like the satellite hookup director
Right.
and also plays keyboards, which I guess keyboards are an instrument that you plug in. Like, is that why he's the keyboard
Oh,
player?
true. Well, I mean, but all
It's like
those
the
instruments
most
are,
it's the most electronic instrument though
I
of
guess
the
so.
like
Yeah.
but no, Flash plays the saxophone.
Well, that's true.
They're
Yeah,
all electronic.
that's a very analog instrument. No, I'm just thinking of, I think it's the Buster Poindexter episode, maybe, where the band tells Kermit that like all of their music is pre-recorded, pre-programmed. The drums are a drum machine. That was the joke on the show, anyway.
Right. You wanted to talk about inner tube and we really haven't.
Right. So the first time we ever see, well, the earliest in history that digit existed was in the inner tube presentation pilot, which was the original version of what Jim Henson wanted to do that later morphed into the Jim Henson Hour or the Muppet television segments. And Digit is a pretty different character there. He's one of the only characters. Actually, is he the only character that carries over from Innertube to the eventual show?
Except for Kermit.
Other than Kermit. Yeah, okay. So again, I think yeah, they just really something about Digit caught the interest of Jim Henson and his collaborators. But yeah, he's even more robotic in his brief appearance.
Because as we've discussed, and we should say it is Dave. It is still Dave
It's
doing a very
yeah,
different voice.
right.
But as we discussed on the Jim Henson Hour, he's like, as we said, a Kramer or a Reverend Jim type
Yeah.
voice, right? He's like, oh hey Kermit, I'm getting satellite feeds or whatever. Whereas in this, he's like, transponder problems. I hate when that happens or whatever. Like
Yeah,
it's very
and I think
strange.
they're putting like a an effect on his voice to make it sound even more robotic. Kind of like how Frank Welker would do for Soundwave on Transformers. He was just doing his Dr. Claw voice from Inspector Gadget, but they put an effect on it to make it sound more kind of like echoey and reverby and robotic.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so that's kind of what they did, I
Awesome.
think, with Dave Goals on Digit on Innertube.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Don't follow leaders, watch your parking meters, live it or live with it. Digital modulation wash.
Yeah.
I would not hate, I shouldn't say hate. Hate's a strong word. I would like Digit a lot less if they had stuck with this voice. I would still like him. I would still be fascinated by him, I think.
Yeah. And also
He
that
would not be as lovable.
Inner Tube is just such a short thing, though, that like we don't know much about any of the new characters who are in that. So yeah, I don't think that would have sustained that version of Digit. Yeah, I don't think you could have that as a character in an entire series the way they did eventually.
Right.
So yeah, I'm glad we got the version of Digit that we did. I wish that he had stuck around longer, or I feel like we say this with every every obscure character on this podcast series, but he could still come back. I'd like to see him come back. There's potential
Digit.
there.
The Dave Goles' last performance before he retires will be the return of Digit.
Yeah,
Dave
why
Goles
not?
will walk into the sunset with shaking Digit around.
I hope so.
I hope so, man.
Like,
That
yeah,
would rule.
give him a just like the Digit show special, Have Digit just
Yeah, let's give Digit a special on Disney Plus. They're doing the Muppet Show special
yeah.
coming right up. Is it out already by the time this drops, by the way? I don't even know.
Almost, not quite.
Okay. And the next one is going to be the Digit show. And it's going
Yeah.
to be all about Digit.
Yeah, social media is going to go crazy. Everybody's going to be so happy to see the Digit show with special guest Baymax from Big Hero
Oh
6.
man. Ah, love
So,
that guy.
yeah. Yeah, let's write let's start the letter writing campaign to Disney right now. The only other comment that I had, and you kind of, I think, just alluded to it. There's the behind the scenes video in Secrets of the Muppets where it shows the Puppeteers below the frame and in the recording studio working on the music just keeps rolling along video from an earlier episode. There is a moment in that behind the scenes footage where you see Dave Goelz performing Digit playing the keyboards, just like going crazy on the keyboards. And he's just like flailing around so much. And this doesn't really work on a podcast because I'm flailing my arms and like making a face. And I loved that part of Secrets of the Muppets so much. I had it recorded when they aired it on Nickelodeon. So I would rewind that part of the tape and just watch those few seconds.
Awesome.
But yeah, he's a not a well remembered or not a widely remembered character, but glad he exists. And Dave Goelz sure put his whole self into performing Digit.
Yeah.
Any
Love
final thoughts on Digit?
Yes, shout out to our pal Becca Petunia, who drew me a Digit picture, and it's like a trading card sized drawing of Digit that she made for, I don't know, an event. She'll probably let us know in the comments, and then mailed it to me, which was wonderful of her to do.
Yeah.
And it's sitting on my desk at school, and I look at Digit every single day while I eat lunch.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
So thanks, Becca.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So Anthony, thanks for being my guest to talk about Digit.
Thanks for having me, guy.
Yeah.
It's fun to be the guest because usually we're equals.
Usually, yes, we are co-hosts. And yeah, would you like to plug anything? Perhaps our other podcast?
Yeah. If you enjoyed this, Ryan and I do this every single week on a program called Moving Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. This is a podcast where we watch Muppet movies 2 minutes at a time, talk about them a lot, and guess what? We're in the middle of Muppets from Space, the movie where Digit would actually fit in the best.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, another missed opportunity.
That's all. That's
That's
pod.
all.
Go
All
listen
right.
to it.
Yeah, go listen to that. And now, okay, Digit, cue Joe's outro.
70 Years, 70 Muppets, More Muppets Please is a Muppet fan podcast presented by toughpigs.com. Hosted by a myriad of people and edited by them as well. Produced by Joe Hennis. The Muppets 70 logo is used with permission by the Muppet Studio, with thanks to Danny Iglesias, Frank Reifschneider, and Lee Slaughter. Don't forget to follow toughpigs.com on all social media platforms, and you can support us by heading to patreon.com/toughpigs or by buying merchandise at tpublic.com/toughpigs.
Oh, Kermit, I am sorry. I was doing squinchy things on your eyeballs.